Chaos at Columbia University Wednesday as crowds of masked pro-Palestinian protesters stormed the library, beating drums and chanting. 2 public safety officers suffered injuries in the melee.
It's just an utter disgrace to an institution of that caliber, and it just shows that neither the protesters nor the administration has learned anything.
The university claims most in the crowd had no affiliation with the school, but of the more than 80 people arrested, police say all were students at the university. The school issued a statement saying Columbia strongly condemns anti-Semitism and all forms of hate and discrimination, some of which we witness today. Across the country in Seattle, anti-Israel protesters caused an estimated $1 million in damage this week, starting fires at the University of Washington. 1 year after pro-Hamas encampments sprung up at Columbia and other universities around the country, many Jewish students say they still feel threatened.
And it is clear that Jewish students are still unsafe on their campus. Now is the time we finally hold our institutions accountable.
Lawmakers grilled college presidents on Capitol Hill Wednesday over reports of continued anti-Semitism on campus.
At Haverford, we do not tolerate discrimination or harassment or bias.
And what does that mean, not tolerate? Does that mean suspension, firing of that individual? What does that mean?
Do you believe anti-Zionism is any more acceptable than anti-Semitism?
There is room for criticizing the government of any nation.
Of course there's a problem with anti-Semitism. There's a problem with Islamophobia. There's a problem with racism. There's a problem with sexism.
Lawmakers are warning schools that fail to crack down on anti-Semitism they could lose federal funding, similar to what happened to Harvard. Secretary of State Rubio says his office will review the visa status of every person involved in the Columbia violence, saying, quote, Hamas thugs are no longer welcome here. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
To anyone who wants to say this is an exercise of free speech, please think again. When you look at the arson in Washington, that is an absolute crime, and to destroy property and say somehow or other that is your exercise under the First Amendment. No. To have protests in the middle of finals at the library, so students who are trying to make their grades, trying to do what students need to do and pass their classes, to have that kind of disruption and to take over a building. No, these aren't free speech. This isn't something that is a free exercise. This isn't a right to assembly. This isn't any of that. And to try to color it in First Amendment grounds is absolutely insane. This shouldn't be happening on our college campuses. Jewish students need to have the freedom to attend classes without any fear of violence or any fear that they're going to be shouted out or blocked from attending class. This is America. We need to have freedom here. And especially in our universities, where the concept of the classic liberal arts education, where it's a free debate of ideas, ideas are welcomed. And in the marketplace of ideas, the best ideas always emerge. But you can't have that in the face of this kind of protest. I applaud the administration for saying if you're here on a visa and you're doing this on our college campuses, it's time for you to go. I think it's also high time for the laws to be enforced, these protests have been given a pass far too long, and it's time to say, no, not in our nation. You don't get to